Right folks, so here we are, we're finished from our camping trip, now we're back home. We've got the little Coleman dual fuel stove that we were given by John Cotgrave. This is the 442 Feather, and I think, as you know, we were having a look at it and we found that I took the pump out, this is the little pressurising pump, and we found that the cup washer was actually missing. So it's never going to pressurise. So yeah, I bought myself one now. I bought two actually. And as you know, these are held in on. This is an older model, I think. So it's held in by this little retaining clip. There's a little hole there, and a little hole there, and it goes through the holes on the there and just clips it in place. That little hole is where the air draws in when you pump it up. So just pop that little clip out with a screwdriver, little tiny screwdriver, pop that out. Then that little top bit comes off around the rim, that comes off, and then you can get to the pump spindle, the pump body, pump spindle, what you call it. It's got one spring there. It's got like a nylon washer there. That kind of sort of keeps the pump solid, and then the pump is held in place. I told you this is the old one I took out. It's held in with place with like a little one-way clip, and when you buy the new pump cup washer, you get a new one of these clips that comes with it. They're a bit awkward to get off. I sort of got that one off. That one is probably reused, but I teased it off, but I had a new one, so I wasn't too bothered. So put the cup washer on, and then I just put the little clip on, the little round clip. It's like sprung steel, and I pushed it on with tapped it on with a little socket that sun came over that diameter of the pump tube spindle thing, and I just gave it a little gentle tap with a hammer, little tiny hammer type thing, and it just pops on and clips into like a little groove, and there you go. That's done. Now just reassemble it, put it back together, clip the little clip back in, and it's held in place. When it's on the newer ones, they've got like a plastic clip which I think just turns to get it off. I think this is an older model, I believe. But before you put your cup washer on, or you can put your cup washer on, I was a bit eager, I wanted to see if it worked. I soaked that for about half an hour, the little cup washer. Soak it in thin, like 3-in-1 oil, very thin oil. Probably soak it for at least 12 hours, I would do. I only soaked that for 20 minutes, but I was too eager to see if it worked or not. But now I'm going to now put it back in. I took it apart again, obviously, so I had it all assembled, it was working fine. So we'll put that in the oil there, and we'll just leave that to soak overnight. Then we'll put it back together, then I'll give you a demonstration of it up and running. So yeah, soak it in a bit of thin oil. That impregnates the leather and keeps it supple and helps preserve it, and it also gives a lubrication because it's going up and down inside there in that tube, pumping the air in. It uses a pressurised air to put the petrol under pressure, then it's then atomised up through the jets. But anyway, look, I'll come back to you tomorrow maybe, give that a good soak, and then we'll give it a good run and show you. But yeah, that's a good little find there. Thanks, John. We've got it up and running, and you will see it running tomorrow, all being well. So folks, there we go, over and out for now. So yeah, I found this bit of wood, and I reckon this is a piece of oak. I used to say it was an old windowsill, which I've kept. It's painted white just because it was a white windowsill, but it's a good solid lump of oak. So I thought, I've drilled 3 holes, well, a series of holes that correspond with the little legs of the Coleman stove. So I've only got the one out, the other one's packed away, but I thought if I line these holes up, and I can put some bolts up there with just wing nuts on them, which you can tighten by hand. So you could have 2 of these, one there and one there, so you have a pair of them, or you could have one just in the centre like that, and it makes it a lot more stable because this thing's a bit wobbly. So yeah, that's good. I quite like that idea. So you can have, let's see if I can go out a bit. I'll get the other one out later, or maybe tomorrow. I haven't got time now, I've got to get on a bloody bat survey. But one there, and then you imagine the other one would be there. So you'd have a pair of burners and a sufficient distance apart so you can get your pans on there and your saucepans. And yeah, that's what I reckon. And I'll turn it, actually you probably turn it around the other way. You could turn it around the other way, and then you could just, actually let's turn it around the other way now. Have it round that way, shove it round that way really, because then you can have the pump in front of you. And then when it loses pressure slightly, you can just pump it back up again. So I reckon that might work. I quite like that idea. So yeah, one in the centre, just if you want just one on its own, or you can have a pair of them. All you need is 6 bolts if you want both of them set up. I've countersunk them so the bolts come up through there. Just tighten them up with a wing nut. Yeah, that'll be quite stable, I reckon. There you go, folks. Well, we'll put it to test. I'll get the old one out later, and next video I'll have the pair of them up and running, and I'll show you what I mean. Over and out for now, folks. Bye. Right, guys. So look, I've done a little bit more with the little Coleman double burner system that I've kind of come up with this idea on. So there's the little bolts that hold the 3 legs in place. So that holds it nice and stable now. So we've effectively got a twin burner setup there. Like I said, if you want it just a single burner, just set it up in the middle. The wood base makes it quite stable. It's a piece of oak. Yeah, so it's a lot more stable. You can put your saucepans on there. Got a frying pan and a saucepan one side. It's a lot more stable. I mean, these aren't, to be honest, these aren't the best sort of surfaces to put small saucepans on, but they're all right for like a frying pan or something like that. So yeah, they work well for that. I just took the plunger unit out of my newer model. I noticed this one uses the neoprene washer. That one has got a leather washer, but leather cup washer. This has got a rubber neoprene one. Similar setup, but it's got, instead of having this little metal clip system, you just pop that little metal clip out and that lifts out. This one's got like a little plastic one that rotates, and you just pull it out. I'll just put that back in, so that can go back in there. And the way this one comes out, it's just like, you can see on there, there's like, you can just see that slots into that little cut out groove. And all you've got to do is put a pair of pliers in there like that. There's like a groove, difficult to see, but then you can tighten it up or untighten it, see what I mean? It's got like a little cut out there, and then a corresponding cut out at the top. And these pliers sort of fit in there, and you can like rotate to remove, anti-clockwise to remove, and clockwise to do up, and they just slot into place. Let me see if I can show you there. See, you just see there, they slot into there, and there's one there as well. You can just see it there. So anyway, look, we're going to fire these little babies up quickly and see how it looks. I'll come back to you in a second. Just wanted to say, if anyone's not understanding how these work, before you pump them up, you have to undo that anti-clockwise a bit. And you put your finger, there's like a little hole, you put your finger over that, and you pump down like that. Give it a few pumps, and then wind it in. If you don't wind it in, all the air gets out. So that's in the run position. So undo that, a few turns, put your finger over that hole and pump like that. A bit difficult doing it one-handed because I'm meant to hold the thing, but I'm holding the camera. But you get the picture. Then just screw that up tight, and it's fully pressurised then. And the same with the other one as well. So I'm just going to do that now. Here they are, up and running. There we go. So there we are. We've got a twin burner setup using the pair of Coleman 442 dual fuel stoves. They're running on unleaded petrol here. They're clamped down, they're nice and secure. As I say, you can just run one in the centre, or you can have a pair. We're doing a bit of extra cooking. So there you go, I'm happy with that. That's quite a good little setup, isn't it? I'm pleased with that. Word of warning, when you shut these off, do not release that because that will let vapour out, that'll let the petrol vapour out, and then it could cause a fire. That'll jump down from that. So before you release the pressure in these things, always make sure they're switched off. And you shouldn't really use these indoors either. I'm in a garage. I know I shouldn't be doing it in the garage, but I'm just doing it for the video. But normally these should be used outdoors in an outdoor setup. So there you go, guys. I'm quite happy with that. So I'll try that out next year. I've done all my camping this year, done a couple of trips. So I'll have to wait till next year now. Let's switch them off. Alright, there you go, guys. Over and out. One other little tip when you finish your camping trip and you're ready to put your gear away, these are like bare metal parts, so it's a good idea, given all that part's bare metal, that bit's obviously painted, but the burner unit is all bare metal really, and it does go rusty in time, and that's brass there, so that's okay. But this bit here is sort of bare metal really, I think. It might have some sort of anti-corrosion treatment on it, but after a few years, it probably wears off. So before you put them away, give them a quick spray with something like GT85 or some sort of multi-purpose spray like that. That'll just help preserve them and stop them going rusty while they're in storage. So there you go, folks. On this one here, I have noticed the shut-off valve is not completely shutting off, so I did take that off. There's a little rubber O-ring in there, which I think is a little bit hard, so I'm going to buy a new rubber O-ring for that, and we'll just pop a new rubber O-ring on there. It just comes off with a little spanner on there, and you can just pop a new O-ring on, so I'm going to do that, and I might show you that when I've done it. Anyway, folks, there we go. Over and out.